Hey, this is Pastor George with your Midday Motivation. TGIM, thank God it's Monday. Another opportunity to live your dream and to step into your purpose. Joel Osteen, one of my favorite speakers, tells this story of a mountain climber who was coming down the mountain. He had just finished his climb and he was coming down. And as he was coming down, he got about midway and a boulder shifted and trapped his arm between the mountain and the boulder. And it was now wedged and locked, and it could not move. The mountain climber tried for hours and hours to get his arm from being wedged between the mountain and the boulder, but it was to no avail. Nightfall had came, the next day came, and about 3 days of trying to get his arm from being trapped, it still would not move. Now, by this chance, because the boulder shifted and cut off the circulation to the part of his arm that was trapped, now that arm began to decay and die. But he still tried to get his arm from being trapped between the boulder and the mountain. Day 5 had came by, and now he was thirsty and hungry because he ran out of food and water. His arm was still trapped, and now that arm had completely died. He had to come up with this plan, and he came up with this idea. He said, do I sit here and die with the rest of my arm, or do I do the unthinkable? And he paused for a moment, and he took out a knife, and he did the unthinkable. He began to saw away at the part of his arm that was still alive to detach it from the part of his arm that was now dead. He tied a tourniquet around the part of his arm that was alive, separated himself, walked down the other side of the mountain on the trail, was found by some seekers, and he lived on a happy life. His life was spared because he was willing to detach himself from the dead thing and do the unthinkable. Although it was painful, he did the unthinkable. He cut himself away from the part of his arm that was dead, and he lived on to tell this story and became a very famous mountain climber. Your midday motivation is this. What are you holding on to that's still dead in your life? I mean, you've tried everything to breathe life into it, but it just refused to be resuscitated. I mean, you've tried everything. Now, I believe you need to make the decision the mountain climber made. Do you continue to sit there and rot away and die with the part that don't want to live? Or do you do the unthinkable? Detach yourself from that. Well, you say, Pastor George, that's painful. Yes. Every saw and every cut that mountain climber made, it was painful, but his life was spared. Yes, it would be painful, but perhaps your dream and your life will live on. God bless you. We'll see you